for, anyone listening that maybe didn't quite know what Future Kids is, Future Kids, we set it up as a non-profit organisation that, like you say, it's the opposite of the pay-to-play model in the US where, kids that have money pay $1,000 a season to go and join a club and they travel and get the good coach and that type of thing. Yeah. On the flip side of that, in pretty much every town and city in America, you'll have kids in underserved communities that their mums and dads don't have a spare $1,000 to join. They don't have money to join the club. They can't travel kids to the training. So we found that there's a ton of kids in these neighbourhoods that aren't getting the opportunities. So Future Kids became a non-profit. And like you say, Omaha itself is very, philanthropic.
Hey, this is James Moore, the Drive Face podcast from Coordinate Sports. This is your show about sports founders, leaders and experts and the stories behind their business journeys. So today, it's our final episode from the United Soccer Coaches Convention. I managed to sit down with Graeme Eaglesham and we talked about his venture, Future Kids. Really interesting conversation looking at how Graeme's journey from pro soccer to becoming a business leader, and also how different his model of business is, being based in Omaha, Nebraska, and utilising all of the kind of wealth that's in the area and using that as CSR to go into disadvantaged communities and run his programs. So different take on the model, and we also talk about the classic pay-to-play model that's prevalent across the US. So yeah, really good conversation for anyone who's either starting or running a soccer or a sports academy at the moment. Enjoy the show.
Great, appreciate you coming on. Great to bump into you as well on the at the conference. And my first time, so it's kind of eye-opener, so much business going on and stuff. But what I wanted to, before we get into it and talk about all your businesses, just a bit of background for you. So like you were talking just off camera that you were pro previously, so yep. in Scotland. What was the kind of your journey in and out of professional soccer?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. Super excited to be talking to you. But I would say, grew up in Scotland, just your typical, playing on the street football, just played all through.
Dawn till dusk.
Dawn till dusk. So kicking the ball about non-stop. Got into an academy called Ayr United when I was about 11 years old.
Right.
Played up through there, but then I moved across to a team called Partick Thistle when I left high school to become, professional.
Like classic like YTS.
Yeah, went from YTS into pro at Partick Thistle. Played there for like 2 years. Then actually came out to America for 1 year and played at a college called Bellevue University in Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
Then I actually left after 1 season in the US and went back and played another year. I played for Queen's Park.
Okay.
Up in Glasgow as well.
So was that when you came out? Was that a scholarship?
Yeah.
Yep.
So really, did 2 years at Partick Thistle and then came out on a scholarship to school in Omaha and did 1 year. At that time, just wasn't quite what I wanted at the time. Wanted to go back and try and play. But play in the UK again. Yeah, did 1 year at Queen's Park and then, decided, okay, there might be more opportunities down the road career-wise in the US because I saw, this type of convention were here and the opportunities in youth sports.
Was obviously you're still a young guy, right? So MLS was already in.
Yeah, MLS was in the mix. It was in the mix. It was around, but I'd say I've saw so much more growth in the past sort of 10 years since I've been here.
Right. So after Queen's Park, were you straight? You said, "Wow, finished at that point," and you thought, "I'm going to get back into the States."
So yeah, as soon as I was at Queen's Park, I came back to the States, and I did another 2 seasons, and then, long story short, I was thinking, okay, I might go back to the UK and play again. But in that sort of period when I was done in college, tore my ACL. So tore my cruciate at 23. I was 23 years old, and that was really just me putting to bed the football career idea and okay, let's move more into this sort of coaching career opportunities over here in the States.
Yeah. When that happened, obviously, I guess it was a big transition to get your head around it and stuff like that. But were you looking at that point to set up on your own business, or was it more like, let me find a coaching position at a club, or what were you where was your head at that point?
It was really, I would say, I didn't have like a long-term vision at that point. It was more, okay, there's people offering me sort of coaching positions at their sort of clubs they already have, and it was like, okay, it's an easy transition. That was just the kind of first job step, was just to get a coaching role, coach a couple of teams at some clubs, and then just from learning how the business works, over a couple of years, it was like, okay, can maybe start my own thing, and then that's kind of when Future Kids became the sort of first step into doing my own own sort of company, if you will.
So future kids for me, because of the conversation we're having, and we talked about it before around just the play-to-play model and the effect that has on the game's adoption, etc. So you come up with a different angle with future kids, right? In terms of, I know it might not work nationally, but locally in where you are in Omaha, Nebraska, there's a lot of, I guess, CSR, right? Money that's available.
Yeah. So I guess for, anyone listening that maybe didn't quite know what Future Kids is, Future Kids, we set it up as a non-profit organisation that, like you say, it's the opposite of the pay-to-play model in the US, where, kids that have money pay $1,000 a season to go and join a club, and they travel and get the good coaching, that type of thing. On the flip side of that, in pretty much every town and city in America, you'll have kids in underserved communities that their mums and dads don't have a spare $1,000 to join. They don't have money to join the club. They can't travel kids to the training. So we found that there's a ton of kids in these neighbourhoods that aren't getting the opportunities. So Future Kids became a non-profit. And like you say, Omaha itself is very, philanthropic. There's a lot of... Exactly. So there's so much funding available for good causes. So that's where we were just in the perfect location. And there's a lot of generous funders that do give us funding to pay coaches to go to after-school programs to coach the kids. So we've got staff that do coach in the pay-to-play model normally, but on their nights off, they go down to a Future Kids program, take the same equipment, we give them balls, pop-up goals, you name it, and it happens at the school site. So the kids are there all day.
So we take captive audience in like a large participation bonus.
Parents don't have to travel them nowhere. They're already at the school. They get their snacks after school. Nice. We rock up for an hour or so, do a footy session with them. And
so in terms of scale, like for I guess how many coaches, sessions, what's the impact?
Yeah, so imagine we started in the end of 2017, and it was just me coaching one school program. Fast forward, going on 6 years now. We see about 1,000 kids every week across the whole state of Nebraska. So that's probably about 14 different communities, towns or cities across the state, with 7 full-time staff and 25 part-time coaches serving, some days you could be 15, 20 different school programs going on at the same time,
Right. Out of those weekly programs, are you running camps as well, or that kind of other enrichment stuff?
Yeah, kind of what it looks like is throughout the school year, when school's in session, it's mostly weekly sessions, 1 or 2 times a week at different schools. But then when schools are off, we'll have holiday camps, the kids are off the school, okay, we'll run a camp from, say it was just Christmas Day, we did some Christmas camps, we had a couple of days in December, we did some camps, couple camps on the 3rd and 4th of January when the kids were still off. They came and did camps to us.
And then we were talking about your other program that kind of runs alongside it. You've got the non-profit side, which a huge impact is required, and we'll talk about it afterward. But in terms of the other side and that kind of that model you have is like agnostic, not linked to any club. It's interesting.
So bro, you got Future Kids there that is really serving the kids that are underserved. But then I started a separate company called Extra Soccer, which did really lean into the sort of pay-to-play model, where we would just provide supplemental training for kids that are on their own travel teams and their own clubs. We are sort of club neutral. We don't have teams. Kids just come to us throughout the week for extra training.
Is that a group model, or is it one-to-ones and stuff? I know it's big out here, the one-to-one.
Yeah, so we really try and do small group training. We try and have, to be fair, on a night it could be anywhere from 5 to 15 kids coming to the sessions, but we break them up into sort of age ranges or abilities. That's our favourite. We do, of course, get some higher level players that maybe do want the one-on-one or the maybe 1 or 2 groups. We do some of that. We try and stay away from that because I just don't think it's as effective as a good group training together.
I was going to ask you that, because I guess from a parent perspective, you might think that's like get one-to-one, they've got to improve quicker, but there's only limitations of what you can do in a one-to-one session.
Yes.
You probably do need this minimum of 4 or 5.
I'm so big on the right size of group with the right ability of players. I think it can be way more effective than, like myself and one player that wants a one-on-one. You get more out of it. Like, let's get 3 or 4 of you players that are wanting the same outcome, the same level, and then we'll do these. You can do more drills and
they all push each other as well as again.
And it's end of the day, you're not going out and playing by yourself. You know what I mean? When you're in a game, you're connecting with 2 or 3 players at a time. I just think it's way more effective. So Extra Soccer, we do a lot of the group stuff, but then again, holiday camps with Extra Soccer's huge, absolutely huge. Like we spoke about the sort of bazooka goal and the air pitch guys. we purchased, a couple of those inflatable airfields for our camps, and it went absolutely nuts. We got them in December, ran a camp, had the air pitches, made a bunch of content, and put out some videos. And
I was going to say, even like just passing by, like passing trade, I guess someone sees it going on with those pictures. It's like, what's that?
Well, honestly, James, we did 2 camps in December when we had that was the first time we had the inflatable pitches. And then just through word of mouth, we've got a camp on January 15th, Martin Luther King Day, so the kids are off school.
Yep.
Right before I got here today, I had to shut off the registration because we just went nuts. We don't in Nebraska, we're indoors in the winter, so I've only got so much space. Yeah. So we capped it at 80 kids. 80 kids signed up for our MLK camp. I had to close it today before I get in here because of these pictures. Like we ran a Facebook ad with a video showing the air pitches on the camps, and it went pretty nuts.
So we're talking about that as obviously as an innovation, etc. Is there anything you've seen since you've been here today, or anything you're looking forward to seeing, or even the sessions that are going on?
You know what? Right before I came over here, that's why I was right on time for the meeting. I saw a nice little rebounder company. It was might be called Vun. I think they're based out of Spain, but it's typical rebounders with the lights where you're awareness checking shoulders finding the board, but they actually have speakers as well. So as opposed to just watching for the lights, they've got
something calling behind you,
like man on. So it's like, all right, now I've got to receive it and turn and I can't turn. Sorry for saying man on. Yeah. I've got to play off the one I'm facing. So it's got different settings on the app where you can change it not just to the lights that you're looking for, but different shouts. So that looked pretty interesting. Yeah, for sure. And then some of the sessions, you got anything coming up in terms of the sessions you attended?
You went and filmed a few the presenters in the main area.
I've not saw too much of the sessions. I need to look on the app again to see what we got going. Are you get any that you're looking forward to going to?
So we've got some stuff with soccer.com, sessions around kind of content and podcasting, like local level podcasting. Guy coming on Taka next. We're excited to see what that is. It's like a platform for creating podcasts for your club.
Oh, nice.
It's bringing in like major content. So you got like Jeff Shoes or other people making content that falls by your local podcast for your little
brilliant
community players. So yeah, we got that in care.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on and tell us everything about what's happening with Future Kids and extra soccer.
Oh no, I appreciate you just giving me the time, James. Just talk about it all day.
That'd be good, man. So what we do when we put it out, it'll be shorter clip, but it's part of the wider podcast. But no, it's good. But we need to catch up again, don't we?
100%. No, I was going to say we'll snap a picture here. I'll put it on.
Michael take some pictures after we get.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on social, tag you guys, and give it a shout out. But no, it's brilliant. I'm glad you're having a good time then. And
yeah, it's going well, man. We just a lot of people to meet. Like it's like trying to make sure everyone. Yeah.
So
I don't know if you've seen it. I might intro you to. We've got a session with them in a bit, but AYSO launched this new thing called Play.
What's that? I walked by the booth. What's that on the ground? I saw little balls on the table or something.
I'll know more now when I get the full lowdown, but I think they're looking for partners, right? So they might be. So you might register Extra Soccer Future Kids as the play partner.
Yeah.
And then I think they send it that you run the program and they send the coaches in or they send the kids down there. I don't know, but it looks like an interesting one. It's my first time here, so I'm like trying to take it all in and see.
Oh, it's huge as well. So did you see Pete? Have you chatted to him yet? Or?
Yeah, we had a chat. We're going to have Anders going to come on tomorrow, dude. About all the inventions and stuff.
Oh, what story that is, man. You'll be able to talk about it all day. Yeah.
Good. So where's next? Where you going next?
I might go over and see. There's a few of my mates with Glasgow Rangers, so they've got.
I saw the Rangers Academy down there.
Yeah, have you spoke to them boys? I went to them.
Yeah, I know.
That's Ian and Gary. They're great lads. We've done some camps with them where they've sent some coaches over a couple of years ago with Future Kids. They did a Rangers camp, and
is that a license then? Is it like a street? Because I've seen some places where they've got like. Around here, some of them like Liverpool FC, soccer schools.
I'm pretty sure. I think they do a bit of that. You can do a combination. I think you can do license agreements. We really just did. It was more of a camp agreement. It was more kind of just a one-off camp that we did.
Nice.
But I think they do like to build sort of long-term relationships with clubs. But yeah, pretty sure they do the same sort of thing.
Nice. I'll head over after I do this next one we play, and I'll head over try and get them on.
Yeah, 100%. They're literally right there.
Let's go and chat.
Let's go chat them. Yeah, no problem.